Good morning for Mooresville, North Carolina. Today is December 31st, 2023. We're waiting for the end of the year and to welcome 2024. I would like to wish you the best for the following year and that all your projects come true. I would like to share two thoughts with you, and I don't know if I will consider them messages to you. I would like to share two important sessions that I had this year. All sessions are important, but these sessions are important for what I want to share with you. First session, and after each session, I will tell you the message that I want to transmit. First session was a middle-aged woman that had a very challenging life. Since she was a little girl, her mother told her that she didn't want her, that she wished she would have not been born. When she was 3 years old, the father divorced the mother and to kind of stay, not out of the picture, but not in connection with them. As she kept growing up, she was, still being a little girl, she was molested for some time. Then later in life, she was raped twice. When you listen to this type of stories about somebody's life, you will say, oh my God, such bad luck. This is horrible. Poor little woman. I'm sorry for her. This is not fair. But I want you to see what happened in the session so that we understand. When she went into a trance, she immediately went to the age of 3 years old when her father was talking to the mother and saying, I want a divorce, I'm going away. This little girl was crying, saying, don't leave me. How can you leave me with her? Making a reference to the mother with whom she didn't have any relationship. The mother didn't want her with her. Anyway, in order to understand where the relationship between her and the father was coming from, because they experienced some other things later in life, I asked her, as I was counting from 3 to 1, to go back to the moment the relationship started, maybe in a past life. As I counted from 3 to 1, she went to a past life where she was telling me she was a little girl in a house and she saw a man coming down the stairs. And as she was describing the man, she was getting afraid. She started crying. She became very nervous and she was shaking. And she was explaining to me how this man grabbed her by the hand, took her to the cabin in the back of the house and raped her. Of course, during the rape, and we used all the techniques that we use in introspective hypnosis for that type of situation. And I asked her to look at the eyes of that man that had just raped her. And she started crying and said, it is my father from this life, from the current life. So now think about this. This woman had been raped in the current life, molested, rejected by the mother. Now she goes to a past life where she has been raped as well as a little girl. So where is this coming from, right? There's got to be some logic behind this. So I asked her soul, as I counted from 3 to 1, to go back to the event that originated this pattern of suffering for her soul. As I counted from 3 to 1, she went back to another life where she was a man, a grown man, that had a little girl by the hand. As she started describing that scene to me, she started crying because she understood at that moment what had caused all this pattern of suffering in her life. She continued describing that this man, her being a man, raped that little girl. And she was crying, saying, oh no, because she understood that action is what caused all of this pattern of suffering in the current life and in the past life before this one. When I asked her to look at that little girl's eyes, she said, oh no, and she started crying even more. It is my mother from this life. So I want you to think about this. She understood at that moment, in a second, everything happening at the same time, that what she experienced in the past life and in this life was a consequence of what that man did in that life. At that moment, she understood why the mother was rejecting her. Imagine the mother carrying her in her womb, knowing at the subconscious level that she was carrying the soul of the man that had raped her. Imagine being in the family with the father who in a past life was the father that raped her. They all went sent back as a family together to work on what? To work on forgiveness, to work on compassion. And this is why this family was not getting along well. She understood. Of course, she cried a lot, but she felt like free because now she understood what was happening. That's the session number one. Session number two. This is another middle-aged woman that went back to a past life, and she's describing how there was some kind of celebration, some kind of gathering, lots of people, music, alcohol, and all of a sudden she started feeling sick. She was not feeling well. She felt something in her stomach. She got dizzy. She could not breathe, and then she died at that moment. And I asked her to go back to the moment before she started feeling that way to understand what happened. And she said that she caught her husband and her best friend in that life, right? Her best friend cheating. When she confronted the husband said, "It's not what you think. We're going to talk about it later after this gathering. Don't worry." And what happened is that this man poisoned her, and that's why she died. When I asked her to look at this man in the eyes, she started crying and said, "It is my mother from this life." When I asked her to look at her friend, her best friend in that life, she started crying, saying, "It is my sister from this life." So, having heard about those two sessions, this is what I want you to understand, and the message I would like to transmit, because I think these two sessions have a beautiful teachings of spirituality. Number one, what we do to others, we're doing it to ourselves. There's the law of action and reaction, cause and effect. You can call it karma. Whatever we do to others, we're doing it to ourselves, because why? We're going to have to experience that. It's a debt that we acquired that we need to pay. We're going to experience that ourselves sooner or later. It's number one. Number two, most of the time it seems that we're being sent as family members. Why? Because if I'm sent as husband and wife, you can always say, "I don't want to be with this woman," or the woman say, "I don't want to be with this man," and that's it. But if you're sent as daughter and mother, daughter and father, there's no running away. So you're sent as a family. You're trapped in this family all together to work on this. About what? Forgiveness, compassion, understanding, right? And what is the only way to work with that, to work around that, or to work on that lesson that was pending? Love and compassion. When we don't know what to do, love is always the answer. So for this 2024, I want to bring some awareness. I want you to think about this. Whenever you're about to say something, whenever you're going to do something to somebody, think about it. What you're doing to that person, you're actually doing it to yourself. Because sometime later or in a future life, you're going to experience that yourself. If we only understood that law of action, reaction, cause, and effect, this world will be a different place. Number two, if you're born in the family having relationship issues with your mother, your father, your siblings, I want you to think that and understand that you were sent back together for a reason. And the solution is not to run away, not to separate from them. Because if that lesson is not learned this life, it's going to come back in the next one. Work on that issue. I know it's not easy. In my book, My Soul's Purpose, I talk about my experience with my father. And I had to experience that myself. And I understood that years later. I would like to save you some time. Whenever there's some issue in the family, work on that. And again, the only answer is love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding. Anyway, I wish that you had a wonderful 2022. I want to thank you for following me on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, for watching my videos. I want to thank all of those that attended to my online classes or the live classes with my friend and colleague Alba Wyman, and the workshops. I hope to see you in one of those classes if you have not taken introspective hypnosis yet, or past life therapy. You want to help others the way I was able to facilitate these sessions, and the way these two people were able to get this understanding they needed to continue in their lives. Learn this type of techniques and focus on the spirit, on the soul. Anyway, thank you, and until next time. Bye.